Good evening, and welcome to another Melcat Gin review. And tonight we are reviewing Awildian Gin from the Coromandel in New Zealand. Awildian means untamed, occurring naturally, well, like a plant occurring naturally. And I think probably refers to the fact that they do forage quite a bit for some of their botanicals. They got the distilling bug by making their own mead with their own honey, which would have been interesting. That got them started, and then they got into gin. Their first commercially produced gin was one called Cuckoo, which I believe won an award, and that led them down the path to making Awildian. I read on their website that their dry gin is made in collaboration with the Callaghan Institute. If you don't know who they are, they're a scientific research institute here in New Zealand. I would say their background is scientists from what they say on their website. Their distill is from Germany, where a lot of the good stills seem to
called Carl.
Carl, yeah.
So I think that a Carl still is a type of German still.
Yeah.
They are world renowned for their
well-known stills.
For their stills.
These guys are based in Thames in the Coromandel and doing good stuff. Another interesting thing about this gin, they use a sugarcane neutral spirit. Now, I may have talked before about making gin. So you produce a neutral spirit to start with, basically vodka, and then you distill it again or impart botanical flavours to it to produce gin. The most common neutral spirit is a grain spirit, barley or something like that. Some gins in New Zealand are produced using whey spirit, which is alcohol made from the production of milk products in New Zealand. So whey spirit is supplied by Fonterra, but these guys use sugar cane for their neutral. They're big on sort of having a low carbon footprint and being environmentally friendly. They even talk about recycling their faints. Now, in distilling, faints are the unusable part of the distillation. So you have heads and tails, which are the bits at the beginning and the end of a distillation process that don't taste very nice, so we don't use them. And the middle part of the distillation is what's used. So the tails in particular are called faints, and they can be collected at the end and put back into the next distillation to get some more of that alcohol out of them.
That's interesting. So that in a way, I guess, is helping maybe retain the memory, who knows, of the previous run.
Yeah. Reduce wastage, recycle.
You do that when you make kombucha. You'll keep a bit aside for your bug to continue on. Yeah. I did read recently somebody commenting on that the ethanol-based spirits that come as a byproduct from Fonterra's milk production can make the New Zealand gins more peppery, and that's why they think the taste difference is there. So this one will be an interesting one. We did try this at gin tasting at Regional Wines and Spirits in Wellington, which was a really lovely event. They threw on a great platter of food.
Absolutely, for those of you in Wellington. 5
different gins at least we got to try.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, and this one was the one that we bought from that evening. And at the same time, we picked up a bottle of Humdinger from Geraldine because we'd been talking to those guys, we saw it there, and we just...
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to doing that review. So my dad's family is from Geraldine. If you see Burrell Creek, well, it's my life by now. So the Carl still, which is a 150 litre still, they do micro batching. So at most, they can only produce 133 bottles per run. The bottle itself is 500 mils, which is not a big size bottle, but it's $65 retail, which is a good price when you consider the effort that they've gone in to actually producing it. Every single bottle is numbered about what number it was in the batch and when it was produced. So for example, the bottle we've got here is 21 days maturation. It is 2021. It is from batch 534, so they're getting pretty good at this now.
Absolutely.
And it is bottle 97 of 133.
That's nowhere near the smallest batch producer in New Zealand. There is a producer who I'm sure we will eventually get to, who produce gin out of their garage, and their batches are way smaller than...
A lot smaller?
A lot smaller, yeah.
30 bottles or something like that?
Or less, I think. There's producers big and small over the country. These guys, micro distillery, but definitely an interesting...
Yeah, I mean 150 litres still, it's a nice size still. We know that the Juno practice still is a 10 litre. So these guys, for this bottle, which is described as a London Dry, won gold at the New Zealand Spirit Awards in 2020. This year at the IWSC, which I found out is the International Wine and Spirit Competition, won bronze this year. So they're doing really well.
Absolutely.
And I think they've actually won prizes for some of their other gins.
Yeah.
This one, they say they have 20 botanicals, but they've not told us too much about what it contains. No. What they have said, it has fruity aromas of pomegranate and blueberry that pair well with the other spice and citrus botanicals that they use, and that 1/3 of all the botanicals that they use either come directly from their distillery garden or that they have wild foraged.
Hence the name. So I think that's enough talking. I think it's probably time to give this one a go. So there's quite a lot going on straight away. With a lot of the gins we've tried recently, you're still getting quite that piney juniper nose coming through. And while there's a hint of that, there's a lot more in there. That's really complex. There's lots of flavours, there's spices in there, there's herbal qualities, there's quite a peppery quality, which might suggest something like Horopito or Kawa. I'm not getting too much in the way of berry hints.
I've got the citrus.
I might have even suggested something like fennel.
Earthy to the nose, but then on the tongue and the end, it's it's quite peppery on the back of the tongue. Smooth though. Ooh.
It is. Let's try it as a G&T.
Cheers.
Cheers.
It really changes it, doesn't it?
That peppery quality is still coming through, but it's quite noticeably toned down.
That one is quite interesting straight.
It is. While it's really good as a G&T, you could almost do that with soda, just so that you get all those qualities of the botanicals coming through. Because of the herbal flavours, you could do it with something like rosemary.
Or thyme.
Or thyme.
So I went back to my notes that we took from Regional Wines and Spirits Tasting, and they paired it with lemon peel. So we've gone right with pairing it with lemon peel. They also paired it with East Imperial Burma tonic, but in that evening they paired everything with the same tonic. So it's not to say that that's particularly the best paired tonic. We always do ours with Schweppes.
Just as our benchmark.
Yeah, it's like coming home, Schweppes. And then you can then play with your gin and tonic once you get that base level. Yep.
So the other thing to note, this is 47% ABV, so not for the faint-hearted.
No.
And you can definitely taste that when you try it.
Yeah. I didn't feel like it was super sweet this time, and the first time I tried it I did notice it was sweet, but not in a bad way. But tonight I'm not.
When you start getting into some of those higher alcohol gins,
it's sweet.
You get that real sort of chemical, almost the real hard alcohol taste coming through. But no, this is still very smooth. You could sip it straight, great as a gin and tonic. I wouldn't necessarily use it in a cocktail. I think it would be a waste of what's a very good gin. These guys produce, I think, about half a dozen different gins. They produce this in a navy strength at 58%. They produce a citrus gin, Just going off memory, I know they make a damson liqueur, damson gin liqueur.
Do they?
They do.
And a
Yes.
pea,
A pea blossom one,
Yeah.
which is a beautiful, almost without being rude, almost looks like methylated spirits. It's that beautiful purple colour, but that's the pea blossom. Must be
And-
quite heavy in it.
and the Manuka.
There's a Manuka one and there's a citrus one.
Mm.
Yeah, so lots of different gins. This one's fantastic. Give it a go.
Keep your eye out for the other ones because they do quite limited runs. So if they come up, you kind of want to, and you're interested, grab one.
Yeah,
Oh, I do like about this bottle the land map of where they are, a little tiny little dot, which must be where their little hut, their guest hut was that they created this. A neat little optical illusion to look at that piece in the bottle, and hopefully I filmed enough of that for the intro to show you.
yeah. Another fantastic gin.
Mm.
We're going to go away and enjoy the rest of this.
Yeah.
Gins are winners.